Hey friends, Solstice is back, and sooner than later I want to give you some tips so that you can expedite your grind and make it easier so you can get more drops per hour, and so you don't have to look at the screen. You can watch a YouTube video, entertain yourself, because this content, it's not. This year, you can complete bounties, and some of them can be completed in PvP, so I want to give you some tips and recommendations on if it's even worth doing that, and the answer is no. Don't play PvP for these drops, it's just not worth it. Let's talk about the most efficient methods. So to start, talk to Ava Levante, follow her quest line. It's going to ask you to upgrade armor in your quest tab with the Solstice Forge. You do bounties, upgrade armor, rinse, repeat till you're done, do it in bonfire bash, whatever. To buy a bounty, you need silver leaves. The best method for getting silver leaves is the starter mission in Neptune. You can get a checkpoint for this, very first mission, first contact. And you can have a second console or a friend load you in, change characters, load up at the end, enter a Cabal drop pod, and then right about here on your screen, you're going to see 7 silver leaves drop. It takes about 1:30 to do that whole rotation, and in my opinion, that's the fastest in the game, and I account for that during my estimation calculations for how many drops per hour. There's 2 efficient methods, I think, and let's talk about the colored bounties. Skip the white colored ones. The green is where it's at, because after you complete the quest, instead of getting the armor upgrade, you have a chance of getting a bonus perk Solstice weapon. So this could be like a something new hand cannon with 2 perks in either column, or both. The golds guarantee drop both the weapon and the armor, but they might be more difficult to complete. Grandmaster work requires a Grandmaster Nightfall. There's one with raid or dungeon encounters and one with Nightfall score. The 2 methods I recommend is either you spam green bounties at Bonfire Bash, because Bonfire Bash still drops Solstice weapons, although they have only a single perk. It's fine. You're still getting drops, which are contributing towards your god roll. There are 2 types of green bounties: Tempered, which require ability kills, and Flux, which is just generate orbs. And I have in the description some very specialized builds for orb creation and ability kills for PvP. The long and short of it is it's not worth it in PvP. If you're gaming, you can complete it in about an 8-minute match, but you could just complete it twice as fast without looking at the screen in PvE at Grasp of Avarice, or Bonfire Bash, or the Thrallway, or if you're very smart, in the Grandmaster Nightfall. Then you use silver leaves to refresh the bounties at the end of the Nightfall to guarantee that you can have 5 golds by the end of the Nightfall. So that is a method. Let's talk about greens at Bonfire Bash and the numbers you'd get there. Per hour, you're probably going to get around 20 double perk guns with 16 single perk guns if you're very aggressive on your flux and ability kills and you're refreshing. I can complete 10 bounties per bonfire completion, and it takes about 8 minutes per bonfire completion. The GM method takes about 8 to 9 minutes with a very optimized team, probably 10 with loads and whatnot. But you can also complete the green bounties during the Nightfall, so you're going to get 20 to 30 double perk guns per hour if you're very efficient. So I would say both methods are equivalent, but the green bounty bonfire method is a lot easier to where you don't even have to look at the screen. The GM, you do have to focus up a little bit, even though I would say it's one of the easier ones. Now the part y'all came for. PvP. Despite me saying it's not worth it, you want to play PvP anyway for these tempered bounties. Here's how you do it. This is my solar setup. You hit him with Skyburner's Oath to cause Scorch, and then clean up it's defeats, not kills, by the way. So you could tag them with Skyburner's Oath, which causes Scorch, and if your teammates pick up the kill, it counts towards the bounties. I'm just going to rapid fire here what solar abilities count towards these bounties, because none of the supers count, for example. None of the throwing knives count, except for Knife Trick, since it scorches. But if the knife itself gets the kill, you don't get bounty progress. So this will be in the description too, might even be on screen. I'm going to rapid fire these. Scorch is 3%, Fusion 3%, Knife Trick 3%, Gunpowder Gamble 7%. Golden Gun 0, Blade Barrage 0, Proxy Knife 0, Weighted Knife 0, Lightweight Knife 0. So the idea with this build is you use something like Stompy High Jump on Prism, and again you use Tether here since the Golden Gun doesn't count, so you can tether them to get a free kill with Scorch. So this is a fun one. As far as, let's just rate it in 3 categories. Competitiveness, bounty, efficiency, and fun. Competitiveness, 0. This is terrible. Efficiency, surprisingly good, 7 out of 10. Fun. My opponents sent me compliments when they died at this. They thought it was funny. 6 out of 10. I would want probably grapple to make it more fun, or shatter dive to make it more fun. Ascension also comes up. You'll see some clips on screen while I talk. Let's move on to the next. Arc. The way you play Arc is you send down a Tempest Strike or a close range Ascension, or you throw a Jolting Grenade. So here's what works on Arc. Blind is 3%, Jolt is 3%, Jolt Nade Fragments 3%, Flashbang 3%, Tempest Strike 3%, Disorienting Blow is 3%, but Combination Blow is 0. The Lethal Current Melee, which is the one you get for dodging, and it creates a arc explosion, that counts. Ascension is 3%, Gathering Storm Super is 3%, but the other 2 supers are 0. The Liar's Handshake Enhanced Melee is 0. And that's pretty much it on Arc. So how do you play this one? Like I just said, send the abilities before you get a kill, and then you use a Volt Shot weapon or Centrifuge to get multi-kills that count towards your bounty. And again, your teammate can pick up the kill. All you have to do is cause the jolt. So this is just a standard Frosty setup to loop your abilities as much as possible. Let's go again. Competitiveness, 5 out of 10. Efficiency, 2 out of 10. This sounds like it would land on paper, but in practice, in this meta, you are so lucky to follow up your own damage or have teammates that leave the spawn. It just ain't happening. And then, fun factor. With Centrifuge, I actually kind of find this fun. Let's give it a 6 out of 10. Next up is Void. I'll talk about all of these in a second though, but let's go with Void specific. Gear Falcon, Collective Obligation. This one's very self-explanatory. You go invisible to get volatile rounds, and once you land the volatile rounds with Collective Obligation, you get to keep them. Then you hold the reload button, and it'll just throw more volatile rounds into the gun, and that will count towards your bounty. Let's go to Void here. Volatile 3%, Suppress 3%, Weaken 3%, Suppressor Nade 3%, Multi-Tether Direct Impact 3%. The Weaken Fragment Nade, also 3% if you want to use Magnetic instead of Suppressor. The Smoke Grenade, even if it gets the kill, or if you get the kill while they're in there, 0%. Magnetic Grenade kill, 0%. Scatter Nade kill, 0%. Spectral Blade, 0%. Tether Direct Impact, or cleaning up a tethered target, 0%. Let's move on to Stasis. Stasis is exactly what you expect for a ability bounty, which is you just use Cryosthesia and Shatter Dive them with either Glacier Nade or the Cryosthesia itself, or the Cold Snap Grenade. You can also make a slow dodge build, but keep in mind that if your Withering Blade gets the kill, you don't get any percent. So here are your numbers. Getting a kill on a slowed target, 3%. Glacier Nade, 3%. Freeze Melee Punch, 3%. And if they're frozen and you Shatter Dive it, 7%. The Silent Super, 7%. That's pretty much it there. This is a very standard setup, and I would say an illegal build in Rumble. If you do this, you're going to get hate mail. Let's talk about competitiveness. Surprisingly, extremely competitive. I would say it's in 6s or Rumble, the 7 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10 range, which is how oppressive this can be if there's even a single bad opponent that you can farm. Of course, you can make it more well-rounded, but this is, again, just rushing the bounty completion as fast as possible, getting the abilities back as fast as possible. Dim links are in the description for all of these. And then finally, we have Strand, which just like Gear Falcon is probably one of the best. So this one uses Prismatic Hunter with Spirit of Coyote, so you can have 2 marksman dodges that activate a slice weapon. Here's what works on Strand. If they're suspended and you get the kill, 1% progress. If you sever and anybody picks up the kill, yourself included, 3%. This whirling tangle, whatever it is, 3%. If you grapple melee and get the kill, 5%. You can also just tag them and clean them up with your gun. 5%. If the clone gets a kill, 0%. If the redlings get a kill, 0%. If you kill them with the tangle, 0%. If you kill them with the threaded spike, 0%. And if you kill them with the super, 0%. So then how is Strand one of the best for completing this bounties? The answer is slice weapons with Dragon Coyote go crazy. With Prism specifically because you can get the wall hacks for activating slice. So this turns into a 6s farming machine where you can drop some 40 kill games while also going for this bounty. So I would say both this and Gear Falcon are among the best for completing those web tempered bounties. It'll just say like the element and then tempered. Oh, I forgot to rate Strand. Hold up. Competitiveness, 8 out of 10. Efficiency, 8 out of 10. Fun, 6 out of 10. It's about as fun as the Centrifuge. You just have to line up a really, really good kill feed. Never mind, I gotta show you the weapons. Something new. Snapshot or elemental capacitor with precision instrument. If you're a Bakris player, consider kill clip so you can 2-tap. I'm sure there's some PvE applications. I'm not talking about those. And if you really like the gun, have a duplicate with Vorpal weapons. You can swap to it when supers come up, because for some reason you can still do that in this game. There you go. That's my recommended god roll. I think stability is highly undervalued when it's such an influential stat, but you know better than me. Take the Acarize, take the range masterwork, but I'm sure we agree Fluted Barrel is goated. Compass Rose, Matador, equivalent gun, threat detector, enhanced opening shot, barrel shroud handling, Acarized. Can't go wrong with that. I personally want to keep a 1-2 punch version since it can be enhanced. Trench barrel is also situationally really good. And then I would say slick draw and slide shot can also come up depending on your build. Fortunate Star, I just want hip fire, compact arrow or fiberglass arrow, polymer, draw time masterwork, and as long as I have something like that, I actually don't care about this one at all. As long as I have polymer, hip fire, and a draw time masterwork, I'll collect some in my vault for any of this column, and I'll review them later. It's too soon to tell what sort of combos exist with this bow. I have to try it out in PvP to really know. The rocket launcher, from the amount of PvE I played, I've really appreciated bipod rockets because I'm not like doing boss DPS. It's more like GM scenarios or Master Law Sector scenarios, and these have just enough ammo to like perfectly speedrun the encounter. So I do like these very early in on a season before we fully unlocked an artifact. However, let like Aegis spreadsheet or something tell you if this is even worth keeping. I don't recommend it, but I probably am keeping a reconstruction bipod for later, and hopefully it has a double perk that has some sort of subclass synergy so I can save on vault spaces. Okay, now we're at the end, friends. This editing style is going to be very lazy, where I put videos on the screen as I'm talking, maybe have different sized videos and whatever, just trying to get this done fast so you can have the information as fast as possible. To recap, do the Neo Muna mission to get the leaves, cycling your own second account or a friend's account. Try to get Strand Flux bounties, and if you have a lot of them in a row, do a bonfire bash or a GM. If you have a lot of tempered ones in a row, this is your opportunity to maybe play PvP, but I don't recommend it. Instead, you should have on your loadouts your orb creating build, your ability kill build, and your solo Nightfall build, so you can group up with other Nightfall players, not look at the screen, and get the Nightfall completed. Or you could just complete the Nightfall solo. I'll just leave a no commentary run. I truly don't think this is very interesting, but if you wanted to know how it's done, here's how I do it. I would recommend checking out Vendetta, who is probably much faster on the same build and probably has a more optimized build. This is just what worked for me the first time. Like, yes, I know Titan is that much faster or something like that. I just play a lot of Hunter lately.